God teach you how to become a hardcore soldier for His kingdom and for His glory. Can I be a drunk and be sober? I'll hit it this way. Can you be a pedophile and be a good citizen? The answer is no. How about a rapist? Can you be a good rapist and be a good citizen? The answer is no. Can you be a Skid Row drunk? I don't call them alcoholics, I call them drunks. A Skid Row drunk and still live a sober life? The answer is no. Because the Skid Row drunk, his life is drinking. That's all he does is drink. He lives for drink. He wakes up for drink. He goes in daytime looking for drink. He's in love with drink. He's bound by drink. Drink is his master. Drink is his Lord. Drink is his boss. And he does what the master says. Get drunk. A lot of you silly college students, you think getting drunk is something cool. Drinking merely a low life, and I call it merely a low life, it will turn you into a low life. It has done that to many people in the ages gone by. Turn their brain into mud, turn their morals into garbage, and turn their families against them. I ain't talking about some poor man, somebody living in a mud hole somewhere out in the hills. I'm talking about highly educated people who get a big education, make big bucks, got it made, as they say, and then they pick up liquor. Then they keep drinking, and before they know it, they lose their education, they lose their money, they lose their job, they lose their family, they lose their prestige, they lose their character, and they're walking down the road like this, all bent all to pieces, all ugly and dirty, because the bottle had wiped them out. Then the greatest thing that they ever said was, I can hold my liquor. No, you can't. It's just like sin. You can't hold sin. Sin will hold you and destroy you. On this warm day, even right now, there are people every day in this world dropping dead and being born. Now, there was a man in Ohio that they executed today because 25 years ago he murdered a 14-year-old girl and stabbed her to death and raped her. And now he got the needle. But I don't think the needle is good enough. Where I came from in the South, they use those sparklers. They put you in that chair and you turn to a light bulb. You find out what hell is. When them bolts hit your body and you jerk and jump and your eyeball pop out and your bone becomes soup and your blood, everything about your body becomes soup. As soon as you die, you wake up in hellfire. That's sad. But today, we want to take the criminals and give them a needle like an animal and put them to sleep. So there's no pain. Huh? Want to make it easy. Do you think they made it easy on the ones that they murdered or mutilated or killed? They didn't care. They had a heart like a dog. They were like vicious animals. They didn't care. And yet even Jesus Christ himself said this. If you live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. That means if you do something wrong like murder, then you would die as a murderer. Exactly what he meant. God is just, and everything God does is just, and he's merciful. I'm not saying these people cannot become Christians, because they can, and sometimes they do. But when you do a crime that's not just against the state, but against human life, even though you may care to God and he forgive you, mankind has a different philosophy. They want you to pay for what you did. And one day, on Judgment Day, everybody in the whole wide world is going to pay for what they did. Even Jesus himself said, every knee is going to bow before him. Every tongue is going to confess that he's Lord. Even the devil is going to confess that he's Lord. And he is Lord. And he always has been Lord. But while we compromising with false gods and false idols and false, haven't we learned the lesson of the Jews yet? They still have not learned that lesson. They still go down the wrong road. They still do not turn to the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And we're following right along behind them. We become obstinate and rebellious and idolaters and worshiping idols. I can tell you one big idol that college campuses worship 24/7, and it's called pigskin, football. People go hog wild at a football game and go to church and act like God died. The only one dead is them. There's no life about them unless you put a can of beer in their hand, put on some wild music, get the thing going to a party, and there's all kind of movement, but the wrong kind. The Jews of many, many generations have been taught by God, quit turning their back upon Him. And they haven't listened. Even though some of them become staunch Jews, where they go deep into the Torah and deep into Judaism, that is not going to save their soul from the judgment of God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because what they don't understand, that God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is none other than Jesus Himself in the flesh. And you college students, like I said, you're always studying, you're always looking, you're always seeking. It seems like you have a problem finding because you don't look where your options are. We need to take the Bible today. You want to take the words of the Bible. It makes you understand the ones that came to the people. You cannot understand the Bible unless you have God in your heart. There's no way to understanding the Word of God unless you have the God of the Word in your heart. Not just in your mind. And a lot of folks have God in their mind, but not in their heart. That's why they sin all the time. It's like me being married. I've been married 30 years. And I don't have my eye upon another female and say, hey, I'm married, but now I think I'll go have sex with another woman. I just blow my commitment right out the blooming door. And that wouldn't be cool. But people do that with Jesus on a daily basis. They'll go to church and say, Jesus, I love you, but I love my sin too. And Jesus, you're supposed to forgive me, little boy. And when I call you, Jesus, you're supposed to come here like an old dog. That's how people treat Jesus. And Jesus said, live holy, and they say, no. You know, like little kids used to tell mom and dad, but mom and dad tell them, don't put your hand in the fire. And they go, why? Don't put your hand in the fire. And they wait for mom and dad to leave, and the little boy and girl puts her hand in the fire and starts screaming. And the mom says, did you put your hand in the fire? Yeah, why? I don't know. People do that with God. God says, stop sinning. Man says, no. But when pain comes man's way, man starts screaming, God, God, God. Where are you, God? Hey, God. Hey, you're supposed to be there. Well, where are you? I can't hear you. What happened to you? God ain't gone nowhere. You did. And yet people treat God, Jew and Gentile alike. Now the Jews think by doing their ritualisms, that's going to bring the blessings of Israel. Wrong. Wrong. It's just a tradition. It's just a ritual. It's just a thing that becomes mundane. There's no meaning behind it. There's no spirituality in it. It doesn't bring you one bit closer to God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's just a tradition. And that's all it is. What brings you to God is when you deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow Jesus.